So y'all, welcome to the page. It's your boy Bigg Skye here, and we're getting into some new things with the page. I haven't posted anything on this page in quite some time, but I want to welcome y'all, introduce myself to the page. Bigg Skye here. If you are on this page, you have usually followed me through Chapter Screw Music. I posted a couple of poems and I posted some opinion pieces with um, some music stuff. But actually, we're going to go off into a new venture here. We're going to actually be talking sports. Yes. We're going to be talking sports here. Um, I wanted to do this page that give my perspective about all sports, rather it's Major League Baseball, the NBA, the NFL, college sports, college basketball, college football, MMA, wrestling, hockey, tennis, golf, all sports. We're going to be talking it all on this page. So what I wanted to do is I kind of wanted to um, talk about some of my favorite athletes, sports moments, um, and kind of give y'all an idea of where we're gonna go with this page and with this channel actually. So um, if you once I'm done with everything, like, share, subscribe, share to your friends, and we're just gonna have a little banter back and forth between sports. So as you can see, I have my Detroit Pistons hat on, letting y'all know where I'm from. Born and raised Flint, Michigan. So I have allegiance to my Michigan teams. With, with that being said, my Michigan teams have suffered a little bit, but we'll get to that later on down the line. So, things to talk about when it comes to the sports stuff. My favorite sport, personally, is football. Rather it's the NFL, rather it's college football, even high school football. Football is my favorite sport. Um, Favorite athletes of all time in the realm of football. Number one, numero uno, is Deion Sanders. He, to me, is the absolute best and my personal favorite football player of all time. Um, he was just great. Deion was a beast on the field, to the point where nobody wanted to throw on his side of the field. But that's, again, we're going to debate that. We can debate that. But he's my number one all time. Number two is Barry Sanders, the greatest, to me, the greatest running back in the history of the NFL. That's just my personal opinion. So he's number two. Number three, Thomas Patrick Edward Brady. Tom Brady is my number three of all time as far as NFL players. Again, y'all will get to know me a little bit more when it comes to my liking for certain teams and certain athletes. So I'll save that for another time. So, and then number four all time is Lawrence Taylor. He's, to me, one of the greatest defensive players of all time. He was just sensational on the field. Um, Everybody feared that man. And if you kind of read up on Lawrence Taylor, you'll know exactly why. And then number five all time for me is Jerry Rice. And to me, he's the greatest wide receiver of all time. I know that can be debatable between him and Moss and Fitzgerald when he retires, and Megatron and T.O. and others, but that's just my number five is Jerry Rice. So that covers football. It covers football. Now to the league, the NBA. It's always a debate when it comes to the NBA. And again, when y'all see this video, leave y'all comments about y'all favorite athletes of all time down below. And just let me know who your favorite athletes are of all time. But as far as the NBA, all time, it's changed over the years, and it will consistently change over the years. But number one will always remain Michael Jordan. That is numero uno, number one all time NBA basketball, period. I don't even need to say anymore. It's Mike. Okay. My number two is Magic Johnson. I just think what he was able to do with that Los Angeles Lakers organization. He was just such a different type of point guard. And he was literally the engine that made them Lakers teams go. So my number two is Magic. Uh, my number three has changed over the years, but my number three actually is Shaquille O'Neal. And I know that may surprise a lot of people for me to have Shaq as high as he is. But Shaq, when he was in his prime, was literally the most dominant athlete I've ever seen. Like, he was just, he was special. He was special. So I have Shaq at number three, number four, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. I know some people are like, why you got Shaq over Kareem? Well, again, it was just Shaq's sheer dominance. Like when he was dominant, he was literally the most dominant player on the court. Kareem, man, like, I mean, what can you say about Kareem that hasn't been said? He's the all-time scoring leader. He literally had the most unstoppable shot of all time with the sky hook. And I mean, he was just he throughout his career, he was always consistent. Six-time MVP. He was completely dominant. That was a little bit before my time, but I was able to watch Kareem when I was a lot younger. I'm 37, by the way. So for anybody that's probably going to ask, well, why are certain athletes, in your all-time greatest list? Well, I got a chance to see some people play. Kareem, I caught the last tail end of his career when I was younger, but I was able to go back and watch a lot of Kareem Abdul-Jabbar back in the day. So I had to have him at number four. Number five is the Bean, Kobe Bryant. I got Kobe at number five. Um, I mean, rest in peace, Mamba. It's gonna be Mamba forever. But I have Kobe at number five simply because his determination and his will to win and his consistency throughout his career. We all know what happened towards the end of his career. He was injured for the latter part of his career, but when Kobe was doing his thing, he was literally probably top two, three best player in the league, probably almost his entire career. So I got Kobe at number five. I know people are going to be like, you don't have LeBron in your top five. I know that's coming. I actually have LeBron as my number six, but again, that's up for debate. Yeah, let me know where y'all have LeBron. Do y'all have, and if you have LeBron in your top five, and we're gonna have a lot of LeBron James talk. If you have LeBron in your top five, of course I have no problem in that. These are just my personal top five. These are just my personal. So that's that's the NBA. That's the league. So and then I'll do two more. Um I'll do Major League Baseball, and I'm actually going to do professional wrestling too, because I'm a huge wrestling fan. So, but we'll get to that. Major League Baseball of all time. These are my personal top five. And again, baseball's been around for so long. Some people may have Babe Ruth and Lou Gehrig and Ted Williams and Joe DiMaggio and Mickey Mantle and Ty Cobb. I didn't get a chance to see these gentlemen play. That was way before my time. So before anybody asks, well, do you have Babe Ruth and guys like Hank Aaron and guys like Roberto Clemente in your top five? I'm not gonna put them there only because I didn't watch them play. I know about their greatness. I know how great Hank Aaron was, and rest in peace to Hank Aaron, who just passed away almost about a week ago, actually. Um, but I didn't get a chance to see him play. I knew about his greatness, like Willie Mays. I knew about his greatness because of my father, who was big on Willie Mays and um, big on Hank Aaron. But these are just my personal favorite baseball players of all time. They may not be your top, and that's okay. That's okay. But these are my personal favorites. Number one is Ken Griffey Jr. Um, he Ken Griffey Jr. in the '90s. For those who don't know, probably outside of Michael Jordan was everybody's favorite athlete. Like everybody loved Ken Griffey Jr. And had he not got hurt, we don't know what this man's trajectory would have been had he not got hurt. But Ken Griffey Jr. was, if I had to do top five favorite athletes of all time, Ken Griffey Jr. might just crack my top five. He was just so amazing to me. His swing, the way All right, King Griffey Jr. That was my number one. Number two is Barry Bonds. I know some people may you could probably put Bonds at one and King Griffey Jr. at two, whatever. That's cool. These are just my personal favorites. Barry Bonds, quite arguably, might be the greatest hitter of all time. I mean, I can't debate that. I mean, what he if you go and look at his stats in the 2001 and in the 2002 seasons, you'll see why he was just so revered. And we're not going to talk about the steroid stuff. Yeah, we'll talk about that. But again, these are just my personal favorites. Number three is Tony Gwynn. So underrated, so underappreciated. I mean, one of the greatest hitters, like when it comes to actually vision and how he um, just swung the baseball. I mean, Tony Gwynn was sensational, and so he's my number three. I always was a big fan of Tony Gwynn. I just thought he was just so great. Number four, Jeter, Derek Jeter. No, I'm not a Yankees fan. I cannot stand the New York Yankees, but I even have to admit Jeter's greatness over the course of his career, and he was the captain for a reason. He wasn't just some captain on the team and was playing with a bunch of superstars. No, he was the anchor of that entire organization. So I got Jeter at number four, and then number five is Albert Pujols. Um, if it wasn't for Barry Bonds doing what he was doing, Albert Pujols would have so many more MVPs because Albert Pujols was killing it. But of course, when you're behind Barry Bonds, it kind of makes it hard to get over that hump. So yeah, but Albert Pujols was special. And again, he was one of those guys who was consistent for so long, and he was just such a great baseball player inside and out. So those are my top five favorite baseball players. And then wrestling, been watching wrestling since I was 5 years old. My all-time favorite, well, one of my earliest favorite wrestling match was Macho Man versus Ricky the Dragon Steamboat WrestleMania 3. So that was like one of the first matches I ever got a chance to watch and fall in love with. So that being said, top five favorite wrestlers of all time. Number one, HBK Shawn Michaels. Anybody that knows me knows that. I mean, Shawn Michaels in the ring, he was especially like 97, like 96, 97. Nobody could touch him in the world. He was literally the best wrestler in the world. And like we know what happened. He had one career. He took 4 years off, came back, still killing it. You just go back and watch his matches. I mean, the matches with Taker at WrestleMania 25 and 26. The matches with one of my favorite Shawn Michaels matches, one of my favorite matches, period, was the match with him and Angle at WrestleMania 21. I mean, just some of the guys he worked with: Undertaker, uh, Triple H, um, Chris Jericho, uh, Bret Hart, Owen Hart. List goes on and on. This man has literally been in the ring with everybody except The Rock, but that's a whole nother discussion. But HBK is my number one. Okay. Number two is Bret Hart. I mean, the excellence and execution, the best there is, best there was, best there ever will be. Nobody to me in wrestling history told a better story than Bret Hart in the ring. Like his storytelling was top notch, and he just exemplified excellence in the ring. I know that's kind of cliche and corny to say, but he did. He was just that good. So I got Bret Hart at number two. Number three, Stone Cold Steve Austin. I mean, if you watched any of the Attitude Era, it was a reason why he was getting the pops, wrestling term, that he was getting, because he was literally that dude for real. Like he was really that dude. He helped carry WWF slash WWE into the next phase of where it is today. And he was just on top of the world. Everybody was a Stone Cold fan, myself included. I was a big Stone Cold guy. And he had so many great matches throughout his career, even before the neck injury in '97. Like he had great matches with Brent and Owen, and even when he was in WCW, he had great matches, with Ricky Steamboat and Sting and some other guys. But Stone Cold, number three. Number four is Ric Flair. I know you have Shawn Michaels, Bret Hart, and Stone Cold over Ric Flair. Sure. Now, I didn't get a chance to watch a lot of Ric Flair's work in the NWA. where he was pretty much their top biller. Um, but I will say for the matches that I did watch, Ric Flair was that dude. I know he Ric Flair can sometimes come off a little cartoony sometimes, and he can have quote unquote kind of like the Ric Flair spots or whatever. But that doesn't take away his greatness in the ring because he literally gave it his all every single time he was in the ring. I mean, I can't really name too many horrible Ric Flair matches, and that makes and his promos like one of the greatest talkers of all time too. So I got Ric Flair at number 4, and my number 5 is The Undertaker. No, I do not have Hulk Hogan in my top 5, which is why I can't wait for y'all to go down in the comments and see who y'all top 5 wrestlers of all time is. I do not have Hogan in my top 5. And it is not because Hogan wasn't a big draw. We all know he was, especially during the golden age of wrestling in the 80s. I have my reasons why I don't have Hogan in my top 5. But it has nothing to do with the fact that he wasn't great in the ring or whatever. Some people can say he wasn't great in the ring. I mean, that's for your discretion. But the reason why I got Undertaker as number 5 is because A, he's the greatest. He had the greatest gimmick ever. I mean, bar none. He had the greatest gimmick ever. He did this for 30 years, and the level of consistency that he had throughout the course of his career, especially when he got older, like his best matches was when he was older, against Michaels, against Punk, against Batista, against Orton, against Edge. Like this dude was beat to shreds, and he was still putting out classics. And again, that gimmick, his influence, him being a bigger guy and doing the things that he was doing, man, Taker was that dude. So I had to take those. That's my top 5. Sean, Brent, Austin, Flair, and Taker. So, all right. So down in the comments, leave your comments. Let me know what y'all think. We're going to talk a lot of sports talk, and we just gonna have fun with it. And at this moment, Super Bowl 55 is soon upon us. My next video, which will be probably in the next few days, I'm gonna give my Super Bowl predictions, and we just gonna talk sports. We gonna have a good time. All right. I'll check y'all out at a later date. And peace.